Hello, guys. Welcome to Comic Uno. I am here with a special guest, Lisa. Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell the crowd a little bit about your role at Valiant, who you are.
Sure. Hi, I'm Lysa Hawkins. I kind of run all of editorial over at Valiant. Actually, it's Alien Books who is doing all of the licensing for Valiant products. So I worked over at Valiant originally, but now I'm over at Alien doing the same job I was doing over there.
And that actually kind of leads me to my first question. I want to hear the origin story from start to finish of, how Valiant went to Alien Books, what that's considered. Are you guys consider Alien Books? Are you considered Valiant? Like, tell us a little bit about that story.
Well, we're Alien Books. We're a company in and of itself. We do the licensing for Valiant Books. So Valiant does no longer does any publishing of its own. So we are doing their comic series, their comic books. But Alien also does other books in and of itself. So there's a lot of things coming out of Alien.
So how did that partnership begin? Valiant was ending, and then where where
Well,
were you
no,
there?
Alien had
Mhm,
a relationship with Valiant for a very long
mhm.
time. We had been they it's kind of confusing now, my pronouns. Alien had been doing business with my boss had been doing business with Valiant for a very long time, taking over the licensing in different countries. So if you
Mhm.
wanted Exo Man of War in Spanish, he would do that for them, and he also does it for other companies as well, like DC. So it's it's actually how they were introduced with Valiant, and how this relationship and this partnership has came about.
Oh, very cool. So now with this new era of Alien Books, how do you feel like the storytelling has been different or similar as we enter this new stream of titles?
Well, it's very exciting, because we were very limited under the old regime. Um, and the universe itself was very segmented. It felt like each of the books were an island into itself. So, and you might have somebody make a cameo in another book, but you really didn't feel like it was a joined universe. The very first thing I wanted to do was make a joined universe. So the goal was to bring all of the characters together, which is why we created the Valiants. So people, if we were going to just see a few books, people had a shot at seeing their favorite character is going to show up in the Valiants, or it'll show up in the next big event. We're trying to make it feel like it's a real shared universe again.
And how do you feel like is that happening? Are you looking forward to like more events? Is events not really part of that? Yeah, how do you feel like that's connected?
Well, I mean, if you have a book that talks about what's happening in the world, but mentions other characters in that world, even if you don't see it, but it feels like, hey, we do share the same space together. And all of the books coming out this year are leading to the road to Resurgence, which is
Okay.
our big main event. The Valiance was the prep book that leads to this big event coming out, which will take over the whole fall, and lead into big changes for next year.
And we've seen the big two do, and obviously you're very familiar of do events. And how do you feel like Valiant's lead into this big change is different or similar to maybe what comic fans are used to with Marvel and DC?
Um, well, I I don't really know. It's kind of hard to say because some events are really successful and some flop. Um, I can only speak for myself. I'm very old school. I came out of Marvel and DC. I certainly know my way around an event. I am looking at this one as a very I don't want to say old school, but it's a very uh sure path, to this event. Yeah, I'm not going to leave anything unturned. I'm not going to leave threads there for people. If people are paying attention, they'll see a lot of Easter eggs. It'll be fun. And hopefully it's going to be unexpected. People will not know how it's going to end. Well, that's my old mentor, Mark Grunwald, may he always rest in power, used to say, if the reader could identify how the ending was going to come about, well, that's a crime. But if the reader can come up with a better ending, that's a sin. That's a cardinal sin. So, I'm hoping the reader can't find out, doesn't know what's going to happen. And when it happens, they're going to be shocked.
And which characters do you feel like, as we get into this new era, are going to be affected the most? Is it, I mean, you could say everybody, but like if you had to pick one, who do you feel like is gonna, get the most effects here?
Oh boy. That's tough. I'm gonna say Ivar's gonna go through some changes.
Very cool. We actually have a lot of comments here and 40 people watching, so thank you guys for watching here. We got Danny, we got John, who says what's up, and let's see some of their comments. So John says, great job again with the V-Day special, Lysa. The shared universe is 100% why people love Valiant. It's been a great launch thus far. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that V-Day special for people that don't know about it?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, it came about pretty quickly. Pardon me. As soon as Alien took over, we were like, let's do something special. And everybody liked the idea of annuals. I love annuals. I have a very soft spot for anthologies. I did X-Men Unlimited. I just love them. I think it's a great opportunity to bring in new voices and talent. So when they asked me what I thought, I said, well, we could do stuff on holidays, and Valentine's Day was around the corner, and I was like, okay, if I jump on it right now, and I thought, okay, this is a great way then to start to pave those steps to the road to resurgence. And I think it came off pretty great. It was all centered around a main theme. All of the short stories had a running theme, so it kind of brought the reader along. And I really hope the goal was that you didn't need to know any of these characters to get the idea of the story, to get the idea of who they were. They didn't. Maybe you didn't understand all of the back, comments, but as long as you walked away saying, hey, I like that character, well, then that was cool. Then I did my job.
And that was actually going to be a question I asked, is like, how, let's say Faith, let's bring up Faith as a character because she's such a fan favorite. How do you make those fans that are just love Faith for a certain reason still fans and still get what they want and still get continuations of their story, all while every issue might be someone's new Valiant issue and wanting getting into the universe? Like, how do you balance that?
That's that fine line. You always have to look at a character like it's the first time somebody's reading them, so you have to get the basics down. And I find if you know the character's voice, it works. Kind of everything falls into place. Meanwhile, you also have to give those little added like somethings for the people who know these characters and give them something to smile about. And maybe people won't recognize that they're wearing this costume, or that they are, there's something in their background that is an Easter egg, but somebody will. And and you want to cater to every fan. And that's the challenge. Especially with these characters, because a lot of people don't know Valiant. They don't know these characters. They don't know how cool they are. So it's a good place. I think there's a real open door for them, if people choose to step through it.
We do have a super chat from Comic Toby, so appreciate that. I enjoy a festival cover. Would variant covers, considering like Pride, Halloween, Christmas, I guess let's even shape it as, are variant covers really important to Valiant? Why would they be important? Why wouldn't they be?
We like variant covers. We think they're fun. We're doing a bunch of variant covers. There's good in August. There's some really sexy and fun swimsuit covers. Which, the best is the copper tone Bloodshot one is really fun. And then there's some fun Batman homages in September for Batman month, of course. So yeah, no, we like variants. But we figure if it amuses us and makes us smile, it's going to make the fans smile too.
Oh, for sure. And, I think there's definitely a good place for variants as well, especially those homages are always fun. Danny does remind us that Faith Returns issue 2's pre-orders close on Monday, so don't forget to tell your local comic
That's
shop
right.
about
That's right,
that.
everybody. If you are having a hard time finding your favorite Valiant book, I see that sometimes on different social media sites. Like, oh, my local comic book store didn't have my book. If you want something, you really got to order it from them. You got to pre-order it. Ask them to pick it up for you because they will, but you can't expect them to be on the shelf, unfortunately.
Yeah, you gotta tell your comic book stores for sure. And here's some other comments. Thank you guys for being so vocal in the comments. We got Eric who says Lisa is saying exactly what I want to hear as a Valiant fan, so that's great. And this person actually, this is always fun to hear. So I didn't love Valiant until 2 years ago, but now like I'm hooked. I can't stay away, and I think that's so great because again, what we were just saying, like there's people who've been Valiant fans since the 90s, but then there's people who just jumped on, and I think that's what's great about these characters and shared universes in general. We also have this question. I'm going to shape it a different way, but would you bring Bloodshot's daughter back? So I believe that was in the Jeff Lemire run. So I'm going to ask instead, are there runs from previous series that you want to really pick up threads from, or you're just like, no, I really just want to focus on this
first
new
of all,
thread?
I believe in continuity. If it's out there, even if I think it's stupid, unless it's really just not touchable, I'm going to honor it in some way or another. Jesse's back, dude. Jesse's in the latest series of Bloodshot. She is back. She was back in the Valentine's Day special. So you want Jessie? You got her.
Okay, there you go. So Tevye, you already got your answer. Jesse's back. Go check them out. And so tell your retailers to look under Alien, subscribe. Don't wait for trades or may not get trades. Good point as well.
Thank you, Joe.
We appreciate that. And the quality of paper and cover for the books has been great, which is also always so important. I think we had some other questions here too. So Kevin asks, can we get new Valiant Vision kits? I'm not familiar with those, but maybe you have.
I'm sorry, Kevin. Probably not. We don't get super fun swag now. Maybe if we become filthy rich, we can do super fun swag. But we're very small and poor at present. Sorry.
Yeah, let's be happy. Let's be happy with getting good quality books. Yeah,
that is all we can give you is great product.
Are there plans for there being anything back as an ongoing series or mini series to focus? And this is from Fake McCoy.
Well, okay, there are going to be constantly new books coming out. As far as ongoing, that is certainly our goal. We would love to put an ongoing out. Unfortunately, it's got to keep making money. So it's got to be ongoingly paying us, making us money in order for us to put it out. So, go to your local comic book store, keep buying us, and we can talk about that.
Do you feel like, and obviously everyone has a different opinion on issue ones, do you feel like with the miniseries, let's say you go from 1 to 5 with an XO and you have this creative team, and maybe you have a different creative team, maybe you have the same creative team, and you go back to issue 1, make it a new volume. Does that help you guys, or do you feel like the legacy numbering is better for you? What do you?
I kind of want to cheat and have both.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Marvel does that.
That's really where I'm at. Because as I said, I am not going to discard any continuity that came before. In some way or another, that new, number 1 is going to acknowledge where he was in that last number 4 or 5. Because that's the way it goes. It is going to be there is going to be continuity. So continuation. So why not do both?
We also have a question from Joe. The Valiants has started great. Any other team stuff coming? I think I saw a Harbinger question previously before that too.
Well, thank you, Joe. I'm glad you like the Valiants. I'm very happy with it too. Yes, there's going to be. Oh, hold on a moment. I'm gonna turn off my ringtone there. Yeah. Other team books. Yes, is the answer. Yes, there will be other team books coming out. That's all I can say at the moment.
And I did follow up on that without, obviously going into too much, but like, what would you rather if you had to choose to pick more solo series or more team books?
Again, I'd have both. I think there's a place for everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. I
Yeah,
think they exist for a reason, right?
yeah.
Now, what connects you personally to the Valiant universe? You obviously been a part of it for a long time. You seem different versions of it. So like, why do you care?
Well, I've been living with these guys for what, over 6 years now. They're sort of family, you know. Yeah, I care very much about them. Maybe even 7. Yeah, no, I really I care. Their voices run throughout my head. I mean, that's why we're able to do the Valiance and this resurgence, because it's all in my head like a murder wall, you know, where everybody is going at all times. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Before I started at Valiant, I didn't know the characters. I mean, I knew a few of them vaguely, but then an opportunity arose to maybe get a job at Valiant, so I started looking up the books and started reading them. But I really fell in love with them, and now they're just. Yeah, I don't know what to say. They're my neighbors, you know.
Neighbors in your heads, which I
Yeah.
agree. I think that's what's great about Valiant. We have a question from Eric. I love when Jeff Lemire broke Bloodshot down and built him back up with Bloodshot Reborn. Is there any character you want to do that with moving forward?
Yes.
So there you go. Look forward to which
Yes.
ones that's going to be.
I believe that characters need to go through their hero's journey, and so yes, absolutely. I would say keep your eyes on Resurgence.
Something we talked about when we were talking about events was just saying, like, how do you make it different or similar from Marvel or DC? From your experience as someone who has worked for the big two, how do you feel like just working on Valiant is different from that or similar to working with them?
Valiant is much more intimate than the other two. Because the other two are working in offices, you know. I worked, in the X office primarily when I was at Marvel. Doesn't say I didn't do Spider-Man and other books as well, but I was primarily an X office person, and so that was my whole world. When I went to DC, I was in the Batman office, and then I was in the Superman office. So, but I didn't, but being in those offices, that wasn't the Justice League office. I couldn't mess with stuff on that, even though I was working with those characters. It was really weird. But at Valiant, it's so, it's such a
all
small
one office. It's not like, yeah.
company too. I mean, even smaller, and obviously I call all the shots now. So I like it. I like that. Yeah, it's just being more creative. You're allowed to be, I don't have to go through all the different channels that I used to have to go through at Valiant, and at certainly at DC and Marvel.
I love this answer from Danny also. Plus, Valiant's cooler and more punk. I think that's always been fun about Valiant. It's just punk rock, right?
Yeah.
I think we had another question. Oh yeah, so this is from the Ferg. Who's your personal favorite Valiant character?
Oh, that's tough. That's really tough. There's so many I like. I like to say that, it's whoever I'm working on at the moment, but right now I'm working on everybody, so it's really impossible to say. Let's see. All right, who do I like at the today, right this very moment, is probably the fairest answer I could say. Let me think about that for a moment. Ooh, that's too tough. I don't know if I can. I'll see if I can come up with an answer before the end of the show here. But I'm thinking, but I'm not sure.
So shifting the question a little bit, that hopefully maybe it would be a little bit easier question is, which character do you feel like is the most new reader friendly? We talked about the idea that, that's the job, right? Try making old fans and new fans happy. But is there a specific character you feel like, dude, anyone, it's the Spider-Man of our universe. Anyone could jump into this.
Um, yeah, I think that Shadow Man an easy place to jump into, especially the new series coming out this fall. Um, it's very user friendly, new reader friendly, and it's horror, so it's fun. Let's see. Uh, I think that well, Faith, I think, is always good, but maybe not this one, only because that was telling the end of a tale. Let's see. Uh, I don't know. I think the Valiance is a good spot because it introduces the entire Valiant universe piecemeal.
Yeah, and actually, someone was just saying, hoping Valiance really pulls from all over the universe, not just the top guys, guest spots for everybody.
Yep, exactly. That's the idea.
And you guys have a lot of great writers and creative teams that you've worked with in the past, and something we definitely saw with the new Rouster. It's a lot of similar creative teams that were previously. Is there any dream creators that you want on a particular character or book?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't dream creators. I've always wanted to work with Neil Gaiman, and it would be anything he'd want. So I don't know. There are a few people I have never worked with that, they're like my list of, ooh, I wanted you. Paul Dini, Bruce Timm. I could go on, but again, those guys, I would be like, you can have anything you want. So
And what do you feel like is the difference of, again, you had a lot of similar voices for these upcoming titles, but what is the difference of like having people you're used to working with and then maybe having a newer voice on for different titles? Like,
oh well, I
Mhm.
definitely, I mean, I've never worked with Fred Van Lente before, so that's
Mhm.
been a very fun and new experience, especially with somebody, because I have been bringing in a lot of new people into the Valiant universe, where they've relied on my knowledge of the Valiant universe, but then I bring in somebody like Fred Van Lente, and he's like, blah, 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 I wrote this, I created this, and I'm like, yeah, I know, you know. So that's just a totally great experience for both of us, actually. um yeah, I love bringing in new people. I love bringing in new people. I love new. I love giving somebody new shots. AJ, who is our new Ninjak Roku writer, fantastic writer. I'm so pleased to have given him the first shot. In fact, he's doing the Shadow Man that I was just talking about before, which is a great. Ninjak and Roku are also a great place for new readers to jump on board.
Now, also, we talked about stage one. What is stage two of, we have the event, not spoiling anything, but what do you want to see from the next stage of Alien Books and Valiant to just grow as a universe?
You're talking about what happens after the event.
Exactly. You're building up to this
Yeah.
event. You have
Okay.
these titles, wave one.
I have to tread lightly because I can't
Yeah,
give
of course.
anything away, obviously. Um, yeah, there's going to be big ramifications. World has changed. After the, events shouldn't be something that like happen and then everything is status quo. No, that's not an event. So no, things are not going to be status quo in January. Things are going to be different. Characters will be changed. They'll still be the characters that they're Bloodshot, Ninjak, Eternal Warrior, but they will have changed. So yeah, it'll be exciting and different. Yeah. We have an event planned next year as well. That much I can tell you, that will tie into this event. So everything is still moving forward. So things will be like if you look at it like a Jenga set, we're putting these blocks in, and we're still building it.
We have a lot of characters that have existed in the Valiant universe. A lot of people, a lot of characters people are fans of. Is there opportunities you feel like for new characters to be introduced? Is there, is that
Sure.
part of it as well?
Sure. Why not? Of
Have
course, it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And then, okay, also another thing I wanted to ask was that, there's so many different platforms besides the direct market to sell Valiant, to tell Valiant stories. You have Webtoon, you have Kickstarter, which I know you guys done in the past. Is that a goal for you guys, or are you just like, let's just focus on the direct market right now?
Yeah, I think definitely we would be going into that direction in the future, or sooner than later.
And what do you feel like? And also, guys, ask your last minute questions in the comments too. But what do you feel like are the benefits of doing that? How do you feel like Valiant has worked in the direct market, but then could benefit from these other places?
Well, I mean, I think that the medium is just growing and growing and growing, and some people get their comics and cartoons and from digital, and they get it from their webtoons and other platforms like it, and that's their preferred method, and just like some people want to be Wednesday Warriors and read that floppy, and some people want to wait for the trade. That's just the way people are going to there, and we should be a part of that. Kickstarter is great for a lot of people. It works very well about getting new art there and out and getting good stories out. So it's just another venue to use. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it, as long as it's it's done responsibly.
And we do have a couple of questions here. So Ken asks, will we see some follow-ups on Incursion? Geomancer had some major changes there we haven't seen the ramifications of.
You haven't really seen the Geomancer yet now, have you? But you will, if you've read the Valiants. She will show up, and she will be playing a part all the way through for the rest of the year. So you will see those ramifications.
I'm trying to see if I have any other questions. I think I see one more. The Valiants and Resurgence seems to be, and this from Eric, seems to be a universe-wide event. Would you consider doing more mini events like Harbinger Wars and the Valiants that only impact certain characters?
Well, certainly we have been sort of doing that anyway. I mean, if you read the last Shadow Man with the whole dead side, that was a mini event. Yes, of course, is the answer to that.
Now, if you could break down the books that are out now, give some, little log lines for why people should be picking up the books that are out right now. We'd love to hear it.
Oh, goodness. Well, would have been better if you gave me some prep time to prepare for that.
I know, right? Oh, man, I should have. How about we start with Bloodshot? Why don't you tell us a little bit about why people should like that character, Exo Man of War, Faith, which, you know what? Maybe one or two titles you could do it with. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, the Valiants is like I said, is a way to see all of your favorite, your favorite Valiant characters, to get to know new Valiant characters, and see the road to Resurgence as it happens. It will show you the whole buildup, and you do see a plethora of different Valiant characters come through at any given time, including ones that will surprise you if you are a fan. Let's see. Eternal Warrior. The Eternal Warriors is just a fun romp through time. It's the Immortal brothers and sister meeting up with Wyatt Earp and gang. You even get mystery and dark magic, and you learn. There's some important information you'll learn there too. It's really fun. highly, highly fun. A&A, my God, super, super fun. Yeah, that's will lead you, like I said, all of the books coming out, there are stepping stones that lead you right into Resurgence. A&A is another incredibly fun romp. It does take up right after the continuity of the last A&A story, so Armstrong is no longer immortal. He is mortal, but Archer is. So that is where we left off with them. Super fun. Let's see. Bloodshot. You should pick up Bloodshot, because Bloodshot goes through some changes and will be bigger and badder and even bloodier if possible. And you get to see Jessie, because she's in there, and so is Bloodhound. So there you have it. That's the whole Bloodshot family is there, reunited. And it feels so good. So yeah, it is fun. Thank you. I love it too.
Yeah, no, that's a fun one. That's a good t-shirt. We had another question, I think, from Ken. Also, any plans to see Dr. Tomorrow again or The Visitor?
They are not on my hit list. So no.
We also have
I'll consider it.
We also have a question from the Ferg. Considering Alien's history of manga, do you have any interest in creating manga series with Valiant characters? I can see them being excelled in different formats, which we talked a little bit about different formats, but we didn't talk about manga too much.
I couldn't agree with you more, dude. I can see it too.
Awesome. Well, I think those are all the questions. Is there anything else you'd like to plug? This has been such a pleasure. And, something I really wanted to do with this cast is just for people who are Valiant fans, which we've seen 77 people watching. Thank you so much. Valiant fans, I wanted to get information to them, but also just people who've never tried out Valiant. I really want them to be like, hey, this is something I could jump into. This is the perfect time to jump into it. So yeah, any final thoughts kind of, to talk to the old and new fans?
No, that's pretty much it. You just said my spiel. This is the perfect time to jump into Valiant. It really, you don't need to have years of knowledge about these characters to understand them, to appreciate them, to get to know right away who they are, and to like them, and to want to be a part of this adventure. Hopefully, if I've done my job right, you can tell me. But yeah, it is the perfect time to get involved, and we're doing more than one book a month. We're doing a bunch of books, so you can go back and forth, and we are also weaving in older books about it. So if you like Bloodshot, here, look at this Origins collection of Bloodshot as well. I mean, we're trying to put enough of our stuff out there, so if somebody's interested in getting on board, we're there for them. We're there for them.
Well, that I think is the best way to end things. Thank you so much again for coming on. Follow Valiant. Go check out all those books. Follow Alien books, obviously, too, because it is Valiant. And go talk to your local comic book store to get on your pull list. That way you can support these books. We really appreciate it. And see you in the next one.
Much. Thank you so much for having this. And you know what, guys? Stay Valiant.